now on the way to train some arms. So today I'm going to be focusing probably on biceps primarily, just because I have got a big chest and shoulder session on Tuesday, so basically less than 48 hours away. And I know that if I absolutely destroy my triceps now, then they're going to be really setting me back when I do the presses on the Tuesday. So today's Sunday, so I do still want to get some done, because it's not a case of like, you know, completely leave it and just focus on solely biceps, but I would like to just get a bit of volume in. Now, if I was bulking, my mindset is a little bit different. So because obviously if I'm in a surplus, I have the ability to build muscle. I don't want to be doing any sessions unless I'm really able to actually kind of, you know, either hit a new weight or hit a new number of reps or progress in some way or another. Whereas when I'm cutting, it's much more about just telling the body that you need to keep that muscle. So if I can do, you know, triceps a bit more frequently, but less sets per session, so less volume in the session but more frequently, that will also be a good indicator to tell the body, right, we need this muscle, don't get rid of it and use the fat stores instead. So yeah, that's my premise there. And I definitely want to make sure that I'm not losing much size off my arms, because that was something that I really did struggle with growing over the past couple of years. But then also post-operation, they've always been the hardest to try and focus on training, because so much of those exercises involve your wrist. So even what I can do now is super limited, but I'm really enjoying certain things. So my rotation for biceps, or kind of all the exercises that I would potentially do, obviously not all in one go, but the choice that I have that feels comfortable, that doesn't stop me from progressing, etc., is going to be, in no particular order really, I'd say incline curls, and those I'm doing quite high reps, so usually sort of 3 by 12, sometimes 2 by 12, 2 by 15, something like that. Also spider curls with a barbell, an easy bar bent over the bench there. I absolutely love those recently, and for a long time actually. Aside from that, hammer curls, still solid with those ones. So I always prefer to do hammer curls seated really, unless I'm like just doing it for ego or trying to get a video. Standing looks sick, but I do just feel that I use a lot of my abs and my torso and my obliques because I'm sort of twisting. If I do it single arm, if I do it together, I then also really struggle to basically keep my stability on my lower body, because my biceps are quite strong, so I end up loading a lot of weight. That same thing actually also kind of happens on triceps. So because my triceps have grown quite strong from bench press when I used to do that, a lot of the time I'll be doing an exercise and I'll actually feel like a lot of core engagement on the exercise, even if I'm doing it with really good form, just purely because the body has to support that weight in some way or another. So anyway, so we've got, yeah, hammers seated usually. Also can do hammers with a rope standing, and that's nice because the cable kind of keeps you planted in one position, almost like an anchor. So those are good. I'd kind of put those in, well, I wouldn't probably do those both variations, but I guess I still have the choice to do those. So that's kind of 4 exercises. And then one more, which sometimes I enjoy, is I'll do it on a cable row machine, just like by the machines, and I'll lay down and basically have my arms sort of directly laying on or between my thighs, like laying on my thighs there, and then pulling the weight completely up. And that range of motion is crazy, and you get really nice tension because again it's on the cable. So yeah, that I also really enjoy, but I prefer to do that kind of at the end of the session. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, those are kind of what are floating about. Triceps, I'm able to do single arm push downs, single arm overhead extensions, and then there's one bar which is a really narrow grip which I can do press downs on. And I've been doing so much single arm push downs that I'm kind of just sick of those recently, so I might do some single arm overarm extensions and then pair that with probably some rope hammer curls and maybe the laying down, you know, sort of bicep curl, whatever, on the cable. So we'll see. But anyway, gonna just record a few clips. I've been pretty much recording like 2 sets of each, and this will be a perfect day to actually do a voiceover while I'm in the gym because it's not very busy. But unfortunately, I haven't got my mic set up on the camera yet. I've just been used to doing it on my phone. So I've got the DJI mic, which is amazing. But yeah, I basically just need to find a little cable which is going to allow me to connect it to the, you know, the audio jack on here. So I think that's still in the box somewhere. Oh, it's full a bit of cold, but yeah, I'm gonna go have a look for that after the gym, and then hopefully from there onwards I can not just do solely voiceovers, I can actually do in the moment sort of commentary. So yeah, let's get into it. Little intro there just to give you a rundown of what I thought the session was going to be, but in hindsight it wasn't anything like that, and I kind of contradicted myself big time, but nevertheless I thought I'd keep it in there because it was obviously what I anticipated, and it's an honest representation of my thought process leading into the session. But it went a little bit differently. So I think I obviously started on triceps, and for whatever reason, I don't remember specifically, and it's quite interesting because it could go one or two ways. It could be that either I felt absolutely exhausted after doing like 1 or maybe 2 tricep exercises, and therefore it wouldn't have been beneficial for me to try and scrape a bicep session as well. Or it could have been that actually after doing a set of this, it just felt absolutely perfect and really enjoyed it to the point where I actually felt that it would be good for me to do a whole tricep day. So yeah, not sure what the actual case was. Perhaps we'll see as the video goes on based on kind of my fatigue and the pump, things like that. But yeah, very staple and standard starting exercise here, push downs with the rope. You can see this rope is absolutely battered here, but I actually really like it because where your hands grip, it just feels a little bit more natural and kind of creates a dugout handle where your arm and your hand can kind of keep that position, versus my home gym that I've got at the moment, which you guys will see in the coming videos, which is going to be exciting. That attachment that came with the cables there is brand new, so it's almost plastic and slippery, which again, that does have its benefits because each side is even, it's very much stuck in place and symmetrical, etc. But this one in its own way is kind of just old school ergonomic and works really well. So yeah, a few more sets here. At this point I've had the camera for probably over a week, so just trying out a few different angles and getting used to stuff like that. But it's interesting because at this point I still hadn't found out or really tried to change the exposure. So I think you can see here it's on manual exposure, where even when I've done the color correction it's still kind of up and down a little bit. So not to worry, I mean the videos aren't going to be perfect, but definitely they are improving in my opinion. So yeah, I can finally let you guys know that the next one is going to be a actual commentary during the workout, which I'm really excited for you guys to see. So obviously I've been kind of talking about that for a while, and yeah, it's just quite funny here. I've noticed there's a handprint on the mirror, and like a few days after this they started putting signs on there because yeah, for whatever reason I guess people were just leaving marks on there, but it looks quite creepy now I'm looking at it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see that because it's kind of a different style of video, and although the commentaries are fun and I'll definitely do them more in the future, I probably would rather them be about an actual topic. So obviously with this stuff that I'm talking about, as you can imagine, there is no other audio other than just the gym music, which for one is copyrighted, and for two is sometimes just, you know, crazy loud, bit of a mix up. So it's nice to do a commentary and I can actually then talk about the training based on kind of my perspective and in a cool way, actually in hindsight, kind of from what I've learned a little bit in the future, which is quite cool. Don't, you know, often see too many people doing that style of format. However, there is obviously a huge advantage to just having raw audio footage during the workout, which is just off the cuff, straight from the dome, what you're thinking. So with that being said, they won't all be like that, just because occasionally I'll forget my mic or it won't be charged, or for some reason the audio is corrupted, or if I've trained with my mate. And the problem with that is if you're not both mic'd up and you're quite far away, the conversation is just a bit broken, so it doesn't really make for good content. So yeah, for all of those reasons above, I'll do the odd commentary, but as I said, I'd like to do it about a topic which is actually relevant
and something which maybe you guys would benefit from. So if there is anything that you'd like me to address further, just drop it down in the comments. It can be in this video, it can be in any of the ones in the past or the future. I'm checking comments quite frequently, so yeah, I'd appreciate any of that. And you know, doesn't have to be strictly fitness related, but if it could be related to kind of, you know, lifestyle, nutrition, like traveling, something which I can obviously kind of relate to on this channel, that'd be quite cool. So yeah, can see now pumps kind of coming in a little bit. This was definitely an evening workout. Don't remember if or how much food I would have had before this, but definitely already can see actually the pounds like starting to come off a little bit. And as I said, every video hasn't been filmed in a row, so don't get confused when you're watching this thinking that episode 1 is day 1 and then this is, you know, day whatever. It just follows on from when I actually did, not even the next training session, but the next training session that I chose to film. So at this point in time, I don't think my home gym was finished. I could be wrong, but this is why a lot of the sessions here, even the arm days, I am doing at this gym, whereas in the future, or should I say right now, I've done more arm days at home because that's just lighter accessory stuff, and then I've kept the, you know, proper gym to do like the crazy workouts, which I really enjoy. So that's just been nice for me, and I'm not just keeping it completely separate. Obviously I will cross over, like for example, I've done a good heavy back day in my home gym, I've done a good hamstring day, and I do go and do arms at my local gym because they've got some really good equipment that I don't have. But I just find for me it's really nice to separate it a little bit and be able to focus for my wrist on individual unilateral stuff, which just takes a lot of time. So you can see here, that's a perfect example. Obviously I'm doing this at the gym late at night, so it's not very busy, but you know, coming in and doing this, realistically for me, I train arms a lot, so it could be like 2-3 times a week, since this was one of only 2 exercises that I could actually do, whereas now I can do a lot more triceps. So all that being said, basically it was nice to switch it up a little bit, come in here, do some stuff that I wouldn't be able to do at home, and I'm still doing that. But yeah, in the future, more of the sessions that are filmed at the gym will just be kind of big, heavy compound lifts. So yeah, still looking for a few gyms around the UK to visit before I leave. Not many, because I do head off traveling pretty soon, but I do want to tick off a couple more if I can. And I plan to train with my mate Matty. I'm not sure when we're going to get that in, but that'll be a really good session. The Fully Pumped gym in Norwich, which again, you guys haven't actually seen that video, so that'll be coming up soon, and you'll see then the machines that I'm talking about. Then going back with him, I should be in pretty crazy condition, and we'll probably try a few different things as well. Maybe hit up some more biceps, because I was kind of on a bit of a time crunch that day. So yeah, all in all, I think my arm training has come up very well over the last couple of years. That's probably been the focus for me, and that has been a combination of when I was first starting training for the first probably, well, honestly, like 3 to 4 years at least, maybe even more. I didn't even bother really doing arm days at all, and the arm training that I did do was just pretty sporadic. Like, I would do one really solid exercise each session for either triceps or biceps. So if I did a push day, I'd definitely do like a crazy few sets of push downs, and then for pull I'd do a crazy few sets of bicep curls. But in my opinion, it was just never enough volume, and not just that, but I would think I was too fatigued, again, not just physically but mentally, to be able to actually drive true progressive overload and hypertrophy, strength, all of the above through my arms. And yeah, again, I just really think if you guys haven't tried an arm day, it will just blow your mind. Like, give it a month of maybe training arms once, if not twice a week, and really focusing on your recovery. It will just be amazing. So if you're doing push-pull legs, for example, you could just do push-pull legs arms. Obviously you're gonna have to go to the gym a bit more in the week, or you could just rotate it round so that it does kind of get hit a bit more frequently than it would normally. Or you could just literally not even bother doing the push and pull days, and you could just do back by itself, and then you could just do chest and shoulders by itself, and that would then give you a bit more of a break on those days to focus on your bigger muscle groups. but then you're still having an arm day where, yes, you're only training biceps once per week, but if you're doing a dedicated arm day, you're going to be more likely to actually spend more time on each muscle group and perhaps do more volume. So yeah, I think variation is important with arms personally. Like, you want to be doing at least one variation of push down and one variation of an overhead, you know, at some point during your rotation. It doesn't have to be, you know, every single week, but get it in there as much as you can, especially if it's a weakness. And then for biceps, I think I did talk about it in the bulk episode 1 video, which was at Sanctuary Gym, where I spoke about working the biceps in different planes of motion. So if you guys want to skip to probably the last quarter of that video, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But yeah, here the pump was really good and pretty cool t-shirt actually. It's the Land Rover t-shirt that my dad gave me. I do really like this one, and they've got some good stuff on there, which, I mean, my wardrobe's pretty open for gym. Like, I wear some sports stuff, I wear some bodybuilding stuff, and then I just wear some casual clothes as well, kind of just mix it up. Usually base my outfit on the shoes and then just go from there. But anyway, enough waffle now. So yeah, session there was pretty much finished up, and as you can see, good few range of motions, good few exercises, and intensity, hopefully translated on camera from my perspective, was very, very good. So that's obviously going to be realistically the key factor to your growth, is the intensity, and then aside from the training, it's just going to be the nutrition. So not going to get into nutrition in this video, but if you guys want me to talk specifically about anything within that, then let me know. So whether it's appetite suppression, how to increase your appetite, digestion, fasting, post-training meals, pre-training meals, anything like that, then yeah, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably just keep it pretty balanced. So next video is going to be biceps, which makes sense because obviously here at the start I was talking about doing a full arm day, and then as you can see, it just turned into a tricep demolition. But yeah, nothing wrong with that. As you guys can probably tell by the theme of these videos, if you've seen some before, I'm a huge advocate of training muscles kind of by themselves, and I think you get a lot of benefit from doing that, not physically strictly, but the mental benefits that you can really achieve through that is incredible. So it doesn't have to be every single session, but give it a go, chuck it in every now and then. And also, it's just fun to mix it up. Like, probably, honestly, the reason I did that was because I was doing triceps and it just felt so good. And I know I did that whole spiel at the start about having a chest day in however many days and wanting to be rested, but I think getting in the gym there and doing those sets probably just felt so good that it was actually worth it to just carry on and benefit from that. So yeah, listen to your body. And for those of you guys that might think this is strange, switching up the program on the day, I wouldn't advise it for beginners, but as you learn and train more and develop and grow, build your knowledge and understand your body, you'll definitely be able to manipulate that a bit more. So yeah, I'll leave it here. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. The only way is up.